Okay, so I will now invite Dr. Nivedita Dash, a great warrior herself, apart from being an excellent corneal surgeon, and she will guide us on how not to miss Fuchs endothelial dystrophy pre-cataract surgery. Nivedita, please your talk.
The timer would be set at 7 minutes.
Are my slides visible?
Yeah, perfectly all right.
Okay. Good afternoon, all, and thanks for ARSC. Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm speaking on a topic which is given a beautiful topic and important also. Missed in corneal edema in the case of cataract surgery, which is done in missed Fuchs endothelial dystrophy. So every cataract surgeon's dream is to see a patient, happy patient on the first postoperative day with a crystal clear cornea, white eyes, and centrally placed eyelid in the back without any complication with a very good patient. But sometimes it may go wrong. Sometimes many patients may have this type of consequences with corneal edema, and which is frustrating to both surgeon and patient. There are many causes of corneal edema after cataract surgery. Mostly a mechanical injury due to surgical trauma by turbulence of fluid or may due to the turbulence of nuclear fragments. Prolonged postoperative time is another cause due to increased energy use, and excessive phaco power, ultrasonic power is also another cause. IOL syndromes like misplacement of the IOL and injury by IOL haptic is another cause of edema. Detachment of breastplate may be another cause, and wound leak, there may be wound leak and vitreous loss, and membranous ingrowth or downgrowth in the late postoperative cases. Cause. Other important causes inflammation due to endophthalmitis or latent lens fragments material, and there may be some chronic inflammation which is clear after cataract surgery. Chemical injury by toxin present in the intravenous fluid or viscoelastic substances, which is called by toxic endothelial syndrome or toxic anti-segment syndrome. And another important cause is concurrent eye disease, which may present pre-existing in the cornea. That is primary corneal endothelial disease. Most common is Fuchs dystrophy. Others is important also, posterior polymorphous dystrophy, IC syndrome. And there is hypertension endothelitis, which will be discussed later. And of course, glaucoma and presence of hard cataract is also another important cause. So this is a case I'm sharing. The right eye of this patient has been operated 2 months ago, and with a BCVA 6/60, and showing mostly central corneal stromal edema, and with DM folds. Eyelid in the back and fundus appears normal. On examination of the other eye of the patient, we can see that there is dense concrete gattaca, 4 millimeter in shape, and central edema, corneal edema, and NS2 cataract and normal fundus. This is another same case, but this has more diffuse edema, operated 6 months ago. And the other eye also has shown confluent gattaca with decreased cell count and NS2 cataract. So in both these cases, the surgeon may have missed the preoperatively Fuchs dystrophy. So something about endothelial cell loss. Normal attrition rate for endothelial cell loss is 0.6% per year. Endothelial cell loss after uncomplicated cataract surgery is estimated to 4 to 25%. And this cell loss is more in case of endothelial dystrophy and more in complicated surgery. There is no exact number, but it is shown that 400 to 700 cells per millimeter is the normal threshold to maintain the corneal detergence. Currently, Fuchs dystrophy comprises 2.5% of total keratoplasty in India, and in the US, it is 36 to 40%. So, what will be the preoperative consideration? Very important is the careful history taking of the patient's symptoms, whether with what time of the day it is more prominent, and examination of both the eyes is very important. So on stitch time examination, do not focus directly on the cataract. We have to see first from the cornea, in the hernia, we have to see any gratata or any stromal edema is present or not, any microcystic edema is present or not, pigments over the endothelium, dim thickening or pores is present or not. In specular mass microscopy, we have to look for endothelial cell count, density, coefficient of variance is an important parameter. It should be less than 40. Confluence of the gratata is important. Hexagonality should be more than 60%. And central hernial thickness, it is not an absolute value, but there is a cutoff value of more than 640 micron. It is not absolute because maybe normal variance is there. So if in doubt, you always take a from hernia for opinion before decision making of the such cases. And another important parameters to look out in preoperative assessment is cataract density, antechamber depth, size of the dilated pupil, because all these are related to complications of surgery. Other presence of other ocular disease should be looked for, like glaucoma, amblyopia, retinal disorder, uveitis, past refractive history, because they may improve the outcome. Medication history, alpha-1 agonist use is very important because they may lead to uveitis, which lead to difficult situation in both the transplant surgery and in cataract surgery. And we can diagnose the subclinical corneal edema by using new tools if it is available. And important thing is personalization of each patient's treatment, and patient counseling is very important because there is increased recovery time and they may need corneal transplant in future. Something about post-dystrophy, what is that? It's a bilateral progressive inherited, mostly autosomal dominant disease present in the post-decade. Very few are sporadic. That may present in the earlier years. Its prevalence varies from 3 to 8% to 11% in patients of more than 30 years, characterized by central or paracentral gratata with pigments with or without corneal decompensation or edema. The normal attrition rate of endothelium is more in case of FACD, and there is much anterior corneal cellular and structural changes which is seen before the clinical significant edema. And FACD with cataract definitely present a unique challenge to the surgery. So what are the importance of this gratata? Patient may have, in case of even advanced FACD, good visual acuity, but they may have disabling glare and diurnal variation with this light scatter because of the gratata. This gratata also causes toxic environment to the endothelial cells, and it promotes more cell damage. And there is a shape questionnaire, visual functions of corneal health status, VFOS questionnaire, by which we can assess the patient if the patient has been disabling symptoms because of the FACD. Clinical grading, there is very modification of clinical grading has come. This is currently this following are the stages. The staging steps.
Yeah, Nivedita, you continue, please.
Yeah, these following stages is there, but this is made using the clinical relevance nowadays. There are some new tools in the advanced stages. It is very easy to diagnose, but various stages of CCT progression, corneal backscatter, and central to peripheral thickness ratio. This has come. Most recently, same trial has come, which can predict the early clinical edema or which case may need corneal transplant in future. This is a very beautiful preoperative risk assessment of Gaviria et al. They have taken few parameters. The low risk is 0 to 5 points. Very high risk is more than 20 points. And some intraoperative consideration, we should always minimize the endothelial cell loss in cataract surgery. So we should use decreased ultrasonic energy by various methods, by using chopping, film to fabrication. Use viscera judiciously can be used, should be used, and substrate ranges can be used. And irrigation, we should give low flow parameters always should be used, and BSH with glutathione and sodium bicarbonate glucose should be used. Choice of interference is very important in post cataract surgery. Monoprofile hydrophobic aspheric IOLs with larger optic diameter in TP procedure should be used to avoid multiprofiles and avoid antechamber IOL. Toric IOL can be used in triple limit surgery. In high risk of decompensation should be target refraction should be in myopic range. Recently, presbyopia fighting has been used, but in stage procedure by Price and et al. Post-operative care should require more steroids with hypertonic saline. Optimal IOP control should be there. Periodic follow-up is very important. waiting should be planned to follow up to 3 months, but not after that. Difficulty surgical planning is there. So because of the common symptoms, very early cases may be missed. In some cases, without keratoplasty, there is delayed and inferior visual recovery, and deteriorations of the vertebra always occurs after surgery. And patients also need early visual improvement. So decision depends on severity and degree of the disease, patient's visual demand, patient's ability to provide extended follow-up, benefits of single surgery with faster surgery is there, and patient's rising expectation of visual acuity. So who needs combined surgery? If there is significant confirmed cataract, if there is increasing pachymetry or significant asymmetric pachymetry, if there is epithelial stromal edema, symptoms of glare, if there is high degree of nuclear sclerosis present in advanced PPCT. Cataract surgery alone is present in older patient and in visually significant cataract with minor cataract. And endothelial transplant is done may be done in young patients with clear lens or in patients symptomatic due to significant cataract. Some new treatments available. I'm not going to details. This is the stripping only without any transplant. Growth kinase inhibitor to proliferate the endothelial cells, and some all are in experimental stage. Intracameral injections of to other endothelial cells. So in summary, EPCD with cataract is measured via preoperative, intraoperative, postoperative consideration to achieve the results. All patients should be educated on the progressive nature of the disease and possibility of corneal transplant either during surgery or any point in the future. Combined triple surgery is now preferred for faster recovery and improved care. There is always maybe hypervisit if there is normal hydration status when cornea achieves. So iron calculations to target myopia, and EPCD, only EPCD who undergoing cataract surgery alone, we should always target the myopia in anticipation of eventual need for EK. Thank you for patient hearing.